Hey, what's up, everyone? I want to welcome you to Learn How to See Better, the only podcast out there known to improve your vision the longer you listen. This is your host, Drew Davis, and I've got some great content that I want to share with you today. It is a beautiful Saturday morning here in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's the middle of July, and it's not even 100 degrees yet. Yeah, so needless to say, it is fairly early in the morning, but I'm feeling really good today, and I wanted to share a little something with everyone here because it has to do with have to and get to. I think that it's so easy for busy people. I know that I fall victim to this at times, to feel like, oh, there's so much that I have to do, have to. And one of the things that I've learned, and I still have to remind myself of this every now and then, is that there is a big difference between have to and get to. And let me share what I mean by that. When you think about it, have to. I have to do something. Just the energy associated with that, right, is one where you think, my goodness, could the torture, could the punishment be any worse? I have to, right? When you were a kid, it was, I have to go to school. And then, eventually it's, I have to go to work, or, I have to do something else, or I have to do these chores, whatever the case may be. And I think that it's fun for us to be able to notice the times when we say I have to do something and actually determine whether or not that phrase have to really belongs there. When we think of the phrase have to, it's generally applied to something negative that we really don't want. And if you just think about that, whatever you put it in front of, then whatever phrase you put have to in front of, you're going to carry with you that energy associated with that task. So even if it's something you don't mind doing, if it's like, and we say it casually, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, right? It's an agenda item. But we have to be careful because there's a fine line between when we put the whole extra dramatized sigh in there, oh, I have to, do this or do that. And it's just one of those things that if we are able to switch that have to get to, the whole energy changes. I don't have to babysit my kids today, right? I get to spend quality time with my children that I love, right? Sometimes, you get caught up in the hustle and bustle and you think that certain responsibilities that we live for, that we get to do, become have-tos. Oh, I have to pick my kids up from school. Okay, let's rephrase that. Maybe you're currently in a very busy, productive business or works mindset, and you don't want that interruption to switch gears and switch over to another task. Or maybe you're still trying to get some things cranked out and you don't want to leave that work unfinished. But when it's just, I have to, and the energy behind it, innocently but truthfully, represents a real desire to not do it, then it's just an area that we want to make sure that we're cognizant of, because so many times in life we have privileges, not rights, but privileges that we get to enjoy. And if we start to look at those privileges as requirements or obligations, and there's a negative connotation or energy that comes with it, then it's possible that privilege or that luxury might not stick around permanently, right? It's you can think of it even in your relationships. It's like, oh my goodness, I remember sometimes in my early on dating days, my thought might be, oh, I have to go and buy a Valentine's Day gift, right? And it wasn't because I didn't have feelings for the person, but all the mushy stuff and buying the gifts, I'm not, my primary love language isn't gifts. So it would be a have to, but really it's I get to, right? I get to please the love of my life and show her that she's special to me by buying her flowers on this special day or something like that. I get to do that. Even as I'm headed out this morning, I'm actually driving. I'm headed to work, technically. I am headed to work on a Saturday morning. And I could easily have the attitude of, man, I have to go to work today. But in my scenario, I just look at it a little bit different. I get to go to work. And let's make sure that we have the proper definition of the word work, right? In this sense, what am I actually doing? I get to go and visit an asset that I own, and I get to evaluate the best candidate that is going to produce income for my asset. Now, I might have used some buzzwords in there if you're not catching what I'm trying to say here. I basically get to go visit a rental property that I own today, and I have a few people meeting me there that are eager to check it out and apply to live there. So I get to do that, right? Now I could have looked at it as, Saturday morning, that's when you sleep in and eat pancakes and watch cartoons, right? I remember those days as a child. But now, as a grown man with responsibilities and things that matter to me, I am fortunate enough to have the vision and the awareness to understand that this isn't just any Saturday chore, right? I go and spend 2 hours outside of my morning, out of my quote unquote free time, and then you start to think, what's that going to be worth to me? Well, chances are, as soon as I get the property shown to a couple of qualified prospects, they're going to commit to live there and pay me to live there for the next 1 to 2 years, possibly even longer. So if I'm able to invest 2 hours of my time for 12 to 24 months of recurring income, month after month after month after month, I would say that that's a fair trade-off of my time for the day and a way that I'm excited to put my asset to work. So that's just a business example of how we can look at things that we have to do. I have to get up early in the morning and go show this property, and people might not want it, and they might have negative things to say, and wah 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 wah. No, I changed the whole frame of it, and that really wasn't my attitude. But I could easily treat it that way if I didn't have the right mindset about privileges that I get to enjoy. Right? Not everyone out there has cash flowing assets that they get to go and visit and go and check up on and make sure they're doing their job, right? And so in this instance, I'm able to go and visit an asset and evaluate candidates that are going to essentially be my income producers. And it's a win-win. It's not like a give-take, win-lose type of thing. There's folks out there that are looking for clean, affordable, safe housing, and that's what I'm able to provide in this case. And I'm excited to be able to have good product to be able to provide the people with. And I feel great about that, knowing that I'm going to be able to put someone in a residence that they're going to be able to enjoy, make their home, create new memories that really build their love for the property, and also entice them to continue taking care of the property because of those good memories and the good quality experience that they get from the property management team. So that's just one personal experience that I'm having, where I get to share certain activities in my life that, without the proper perspective, could be viewed as undesirable chores. Now, I fully recognize that on a mid-Saturday morning in the middle of the summer, where it's going to be triple digits out there, kind of hot, I'm going to go out and get sweaty, and if people don't show, and if the air's not blowing cool enough, quick enough, it could be a million different things that I could possibly choose to alter my attitude about this opportunity. But I got the better vision to be able to recognize that this is some time well invested. It's an investment in my future. It's an investment in me being able to not have to work, right? If you think about it, if I put in a little bit of work for a couple hours and I find someone that wants to pay me on the first of every month for a year or two to live in my property, then I've bought myself essentially 24 months worth of time where I am earning income and enjoying those benefits without having to lift a finger, theoretically. And so those are some of the simple things that are a shift in perspective for me that I didn't necessarily have a decade ago when I was first getting started on this journey and didn't know what it was like to have really any kind of passive income from real estate, right? So that's one thing that I think is a great and simple way to share an example how some things we have to do. Yes, it's fair. There are necessities of life, right? But you can stretch this to anything, business related, personal related. I have to pay taxes. No, you get to pay taxes. You pay a lot of taxes, I mean, you probably had a lot of income, right? But in some cases, you can pay little to no tax and still have a lot of income. It's just how you understand the rules and manage your affairs. But what out there do you have to do that if you looked at it and pre-framed it correctly, you would recognize, wow, I get to do this. I think of other examples in people's lives where, they have to do something that they don't want to. And it's not always our responsibility to kind of shake them out of that mindset and say, no, you actually get to do that. We pick and choose those battles, but it's something I wish for all of you. If you're able to shift that simple perspective of things in your life that you quote unquote have to do, look a little bit deeper. Do you have to do it? Is it really a requirement? Because, hey, when you're grown up, you pretty much don't have to do anything except for, follow the rules of society or you get locked up. But you really don't have to do much else aside of that. So when you're thinking about the things that you have to do, are they things that you want to do? And if you want to do them and if they benefit you, consider shifting your perspective. I get to take a walk around the block today. I get to eat healthy foods. I get to enjoy the presence of my loved ones. I get to go to work today, right? I get to wake up. I get to breathe fresh air, drink clean water, right? Enjoy the feelings of love in my world. I get to. I don't have to. I get to. So what do you get to do that you may currently think that you have to do? I challenge anyone out there listening to this to share what you get to do now that you realize you don't have to do it. I think that would be great to see some of those experiences that you guys are out there facing. And with that, I'll go ahead and wrap this episode up and appreciate all of your attentiveness to this topic of life that applies to us all. Thanks a bunch. Have a great day, everyone. See ya.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.